Okay, it's Diane Hockman with the All Access Pass one-on-one special editions. I'm here with Valerie West. Hello, Val.
How's it going?
It's going well. What are we going to work on today? What you got for me?
So I had a couple of different ideas and a couple of different directions, and you let me know what you think. Obviously, I'm here for your expertise. So I think that I've learned a ton in All Access Pass. It's been incredible.
Awesome.
I think you hit the nail on the head in the session that you did the other night, as far as like September being the time to hit the ground running and everything. And I think I know everything that I need to know. I just need to be implementing it. And so we talked briefly the other night with consistency. So I've worked on the list of stuff that I want to get done and trying to work it in the nooks and crannies, which is great. But I still think I'm having a block mentally with mindset and with a block with money. So no matter what else I implement, I don't think I can be successful without getting past that. But I don't know what's holding me back to how to move around that.
Okay. Well, that's not my area of expertise, but I can share with you the things that I did.
Sure, absolutely.
So give me an example of like typical day. You start out, you're gung ho, you're ready to go. What happens? Give me an idea.
So I think I come up with every excuse. So I did really good for 4 or 5 days with posting every day and with keeping at least the bare minimum of consistency. But then
I'm going to interrupt you a bunch, and I'm not being
yeah,
rude.
no, please.
Every time I hear you say something that's a challenge for you, I want to stop you in the moment.
Okay.
The first thing is being good, right? You're attaching being good to doing certain things and being bad to not doing those things.
Correct.
Val, are you a good person?
Yes.
I know you are. I've known you
Mhm.
for a long time. I've met you in person. You're a good person. There is no circumstance under which you're good or bad based upon what you do for your business.
Okay.
Now, you could be not effective. You could be not efficient. There's a lot of
Gotcha.
words that we could use,
Okay.
but good is not one of them. And that comes from somewhere in your life where you, as a kid, equated being good with doing certain things and being bad with others, often from a teacher or a parent, with no malice necessarily on their part. Sometimes there was, but a lot of times it's just be a good girl and blank. So when you don't do that thing, hang on, turn that off. When you don't do that thing, then you were bad, or maybe you were even punished at some point, right? So we have to start. Sorry, but the world. Oh, it's Ray Higdon, and I'm blowing him off. Oh well.
Oh,
Ray,
feel free to
I'm
grab that if
blowing
you
off.
need to.
No, because I have another call after this. I can get back to Ray. But
Okay.
just so you know, I just blew off Ray Higdon for Valerie West. So
I'm more important than Ray Hicks right now. I feel amazing.
right now you are. You have an appointment, and you are a good girl. So I want, that's not something that you fix in a day, but you start to become. Have you ever heard? I did a I don't know if you have been in the deep abyss over the years, my mastermind. But there's one, if you have access, go look for. There's one, and it has a picture of Willy Wonka.
Okay.
It's back in the membership site because it wasn't when it was in the Facebook group. The old ones, these are audios, and it says strike that, reverse that. In the beginning of Willy Wonka says something to his staff or whoever, or even to the people. He says it to the people that are coming into the factory, and he says it, and it comes out of his mouth, and he goes, "Nope, strike that, reverse that." And it's a technique that I've used over the years. When something falls from my lips, the minute it comes out, first step is to become aware. Saying I was good, same with diets. I'm good, I'm bad. Neither one is true, right? I'm just not on track to lose weight, or I am on track to lose weight. I'm not on track for good nutrition. I am, but it's not good or bad, like assigned to you. So you first have to become aware that those words are even happening, because there's a thought, then the words come out. And so you have to start to notice when those words happen in your mind or from your mouth, and then say something that cancels those words out. So mine is strike that, reverse that. And actually, you'll see me do it on calls sometimes, because I'll say something and I'm like, nope, strike that, reverse that. Because I'm either in the future tense, like what I'm going to do instead of being here, or I'm saying something that doesn't serve me or doesn't serve the audience. And I literally cancel it inside of my brain.
That's
Because
awesome.
it's cool, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
So I stopped you from saying what you're saying, not to be a jerk, but because I
No,
heard
not at
that.
all. Mhm.
That is one of those things that's going to keep you, because when you're down, and you did mention zero level marketing, like you had a bare minimum, but it sounds like then it drops off to zero, right? So you have
Mhm.
a minimum, you're doing at least a minimum and then zero. So then what's happening is you're sitting in a recliner having snacks, watching Netflix, and beating yourself up.
Mhm.
And a big key for me, and I'm still working on this every single day because I have certain challenges. And sometimes instead of working around them or getting help, I beat myself up. I tell myself
Mhm.
I effed up again.
Yep.
Everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to know that you can't keep track of things. Everybody's going to know that you know. And in the meantime, I have huge talents,
Absolutely.
but I'm constantly worried that like I watch people and they have these organized things, and I'm not, that's not my forte. Now I can look at anything and turn it into money, but if
Mhm.
you ask me to organize it and put it in order and put it on a spreadsheet, it's very challenging. Notice went to say I can't and I stopped.
Yep.
Did you see it?
I did. I noticed that.
I find it very challenging. Okay, because it's okay to find something challenging, but letting the words I can't fall from my lips
Yep.
is a bad thing, right? And that's my mentor taught me that. Bury the words I can't.
Sorry, I'm just writing that down.
No,
Fine.
no.
Challenge.
This stuff is like the stuff that helps you combat, because you clearly know what to do.
Mhm.
That stuff is in your way. So I interrupted you and I'm sorry. So you said I did so many days. And then what happens on the day that you fall off typically?
I think I just get overwhelmed. So as I mentioned the other night, I drive Lyft.
Yep.
So I've been doing that more full-time-ish than I should be. But I
Okay.
get
You included
overwhelmed.
why is doing it full time bad? If that's what's
Um,
feeding your family right now, if that's what's taking care of you, is it bad?
no, you're absolutely right. It's not bad. It's just not where my passion lies and not where I want to be long term, but short term it is a great solution for me.
So what's happening again is you're out here like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't. You know what I mean? The word "should" is another one of those words. Where you bring it in and saying, right now, I'm driving Lyft close to full time and working my business around it. That's very concrete. Just is what it is. The
Mhm.
statement "should" implies that there's something that you're not doing, and implies that there's something wrong. What if the
Yep.
universe, sorry to get woo woo, but I'm a little woo woo. What
No,
if the
absolutely.
that car for a reason, to give you time to think or to see something or to get frustrated? What if the
Yeah.
universe, God, what, however you like to think about it, said, all right, Val, we're going to stick you in that car for a little while.
Mhm.
And maybe that's the breakthrough. And we're telling ourselves, I should be doing something else than what I'm doing. It's kind of, you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying, that you're
No,
messing in your,
absolutely. And I do end up having some incredible conversations with passengers and helping them on their journey and stuff like that. So that's, what lights me up. So there is a part of that that's intertwined with, driving.
and the other day we talked about how to fit more business in around the driving and those downtimes, because I know that you're waiting for a call and so on. Those
Yep.
times, and even if you're just uh, taking B-roll footage that you can put words on top of or something, it's going to increase your presence. So there's,
Absolutely.
so now I stopped you again because I'm being a jerk. I'm going to
No,
try to
you're fine. This is
let
incredible.
this out. So you get overwhelmed,
Yes.
gets crazy, and then do you have trouble finding the one thing that you should do next?
Yeah, I get overwhelmed and I'm like, okay, I can't do any of this, so I'm only going to focus on this one thing and I lose my ability to do more than one thing at that time.
Okay. So this happens to me very often. 23 years later, I go away for a week or something. I come home and it's like I have so much to do. It's like, it's like overwhelming. And then it's like, I think I'll keep my pajamas on and watch TV. So, so what do you do on a day like that? First thing you want to do is make sure you know what your priority activities are for your
Okay.
business. Okay. So I know It depends on what state I'm in, what thing I go to first.
Okay.
One-on-one sessions, they were born out of two things. One was, I was away for a bunch of August, and we did that weekend, but I wanted to do something special for you guys. So one was I just wanted to do something nice for you guys. But the other one was because while I was away in August and I was staring at the ocean, I said, Diane, you feel better when you're helping people. Go help people, it will lift you, right? So it came out of that. I knew the more I laid hands on people, it's a lot of hours. It's a crazy schedule this month. And at the same time, every session I do, I get off and I feel like it made a difference. So if you're down in a slump, sometimes the best thing to do is go talk to people, because you just told me in the car you like that.
Yeah.
Whether it's individuals or whether it's going live or whether it's just saying hi to folks or engaging on people's posts. Sometimes when I'm in a rut, I go engage because it lifts me up because a conversation starts to happen. Or the other one is if I'm just overwhelmed and I can't zoom in and focus, figure out what your three most important activities are and
Okay.
make one of those the thing that you do first. Usually, if you start, you'll get back into the groove. It's just the starting because you're kind of discombobulated. So, like for me, it's generally going to be create a piece of content or write a letter.
Okay.
And the piece of content can be a 30-second video, it doesn't matter. So sometimes I have to sit here and literally, because what I'm doing is I'm scrolling feeds and I'm all over the map. I shouldn't be saying this in public, but what the hell. So then I have to say to myself, okay, pick one thing to do. And as soon as I do the one thing, I'm generally able to re-engage my mind.
Okay. Able to
Another tip.
refocus it.
So first, we're watching what we're saying to ourselves, being kind to ourselves, stop beating on ourselves, telling ourselves messages that are not true or accurate, that are maybe coming from something stuck in our subconscious mind from the past. Like I had a dad who I loved dearly, who was the guy, he actually got a GED and went in the military. He was not an academic scholar. But if I brought home a paper with a 98, he'd say, where's the other 2 points? He thought he was doing the right thing because he had a bright kid on his hands and he was working hard to give us the opportunity to have an education, right? Because he wanted to change the next generation's lives. He was doing exactly the right thing. But his words, and I feel myself welling slightly when I talk about it, his words hurt me because I always felt like I wasn't enough. I got an A. Why wasn't it an A plus? But he wasn't doing it out of malice. He was doing it out of trying to push me to be real good so that I could go where I wanted to go in life. So in looking at it, I realized he loves me. He loved me. He wanted the best for me. But it made me feel like it was never enough.
Yep. I know that feeling well.
Right? So then you look back and you realize I have this thing embedded in me. So then when I have a slower day, or then when I get like I happen to drive and I get a lot of calls today and I didn't have a break in the middle or any of that stuff, then I start going, I should be doing something else. There's something more important. I'm different, So see what I'm saying? And so you're not in that moment of going.
You have that I'm dropping the ball feeling, and it feeds into the I'm not good enough.
Instead of I made $186 today and that's going to go towards rent and whatever. I don't know how much you make on a good day on Lyft. I have no idea. But you see what I'm saying? Instead of going, well, today was a good day, maybe tomorrow I drive a few less hours and put a little more focus over here. It's I should have been doing something, which is you should have gotten 100 instead of 98, or you should have gotten a B instead of a C, whatever it was in your life. We have to become aware, because those things are the things that mess with us so much that we get paralyzed, because the fear of the screw up or the activity of beating ourselves up keeps us from taking that next step, because the next step isn't going to be good enough. Like make a TikTok video, it only gets 200 views. I got a couple now lately. I'm getting like 90 views. I'm like, damn. I mean, I'm better than that. It has nothing to do with me.
No.
Just like my dad criticizing me had nothing to do with me. It had to do with his hope for his children to not have to work like he did. That's an honorable thing.
Absolutely.
My TikTok went on I have ones that'll go on TikTok and it'll get, I'm TikTok, I'm short video happy lately, if you haven't noticed. 240 over here on TikTok. I'll get 14,000 on Instagram. Was it a good video? Was it a bad video? It was neither. It was a video and the algorithm took it where it took it. Was it a good test or a bad test when I was in 7th grade? It was neither. It was what it was. It wasn't a reflection of me.
No,
So
absolutely.
So that's starting. That's still like right now, I haven't written my list. I'm being just really raw with you again.
I know, I appreciate it. Thank you.
People are hearing it, but I went away and then I got home and I haven't written my list. And every time I sit down to do it, it's just like, I've started 4 letters, but for whatever reason, something's not coming out of me. But what I know is I have to communicate with my audience. If I don't, they forget me. So today I have to write a letter come heck or high water. But chances are if I get one out, I'll write 2 more.
Gotcha.
You ever do that in your house? I don't feel like cleaning up, and then you start cleaning and then you clean the whole thing.
Yes.
Or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yep. I a lot of stuff that I've listened to you say, I think we're very similar. That's why I think I resonate so much with the way you teach and, not wanting to do everything the way that everybody else is doing it and all that stuff.
How to trick your mind. See, in my mind, again, maybe this is ego or something crazy, but I think my mind works different than most other people, many other people's, and now we're learning more about the neurodivergent and all this stuff that's coming to light. But in the 80s, I just felt like a weirdo. Right?
Yep.
In the 90s, I felt like a weirdo. Today, I realize there's a lot of people that have similar things than me. And my trick was always figuring out how to work around it instead of beating the crap out of myself.
Absolutely.
And I've had periods in my life where I did beat the crap out of myself and I was a mess. But it's really about, okay, what part of me is the part like me? If I talk or I write, I make money. If I try to build sites and all that stuff, I generally don't. Now, other people, like my friend Mark Harbert, that's what he does. He builds these infrastructures. He uses Infusionsoft or something. He has a person. He's so good at it, and I admire him. My brain doesn't work the same way. I would like to think, and I can't speak for Mark, but I think Mark has regards for, my speaking capacity, my oration, my expression, right? Because I figured out what I'm good at, and then I worked on that. Old exercise blew my mind when I first heard it 100 years ago. Tell me something that you think you suck at. Doesn't have to be just business, something in life, something that you're just like, oh, I'm not good at this. I suck at this.
An activity or just like in the past, I haven't been great at being consistent. I haven't been great at being organized.
Okay. So I'm looking for instead of something like that, I'm looking for an actual, like singing or.
Oh yeah, I can't sing to save my life.
Can't sing. On a scale of 1 to 10 as a singer, how would you rate yourself?
Probably a 4.
4. Okay. So 4 is below average on a scale of 1 to 10. It's average to below average, right on the line. Okay. If you worked every day and you worked on your singing every single day and you doubled your talent, your skill, whatever, you took voice lessons and you doubled, where on a scale of 1 to 10 would you be? If you doubled a 4, you'd be
8.
Right. So you'd be an 8. So 8 is good, right? It's good. It's good. 8 is good. Okay. Now tell me something that you're really good at.
I'm really good at being kind, really good at being thoughtful.
Okay, so you're really good with honoring people, right?
Yes.
Having them feel acknowledged.
Yes.
Notice I just corrected my languaging again because I said making them feel, and I realized you can't make anybody feel anything. So I literally, in a split second, I corrected my words. In that kind of, it's from practice.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was this big awkward thing. You were just, I'm going to slide this in.
Because I've practiced, but many times I've go, no, I don't want to say that, and I'll back up because I'm training my brain through my words. So you're really good at having people feel acknowledged, right?
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say you are on that?
I would say an 8.
Good, an 8, which is very, very good. Okay. So now let me ask you a question. If you doubled your skill in that area of making people feel special, now see, I said making again, having people help, causing people to feel special or giving them an occasion to feel special. Okay, some people
Yes.
hate themselves; they're never going to feel special, no matter what you send them or what you do.
Absolutely.
But if you doubled that, where would you be on the scale of 1 to 10?
10.
You'd be off the chart, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be more than 10. So you'd be off the chart. Now,
Mhm.
let me ask you a question. Is there any field on earth that will pay you really good money to be average, pretty good, even good? And then when I say good money, I mean like good money. You know, like you can make figures in a corporate job being average. Lots of
Mhm.
people do. They get promoted. They're there. They're kind of worker bees average. But I'm
Yeah.
talking like a good living, a really
Mhm.
good. Can you think of any field on the face of the earth that's going to pay you to be good? Like really pay you, like double six
No.
figures? No, doesn't exist,
No.
right?
Mhm.
Can you think of any field in the world where people get paid millions to be off the chart?
Mhm.
There's tons of them, right? If basketball,
Absolutely.
music, there's executives, there's network marketing, home
Mhm.
business, affiliate marketing. If you're off the chart, you're going to get paid.
Yep.
So the reason why I tell you this is because if you focus on your weakness and you work really hard, and this is what they teach you at school. Oh, you're bad at math. Let's put you in remedial math and focus on getting your math skills up. Even though you're
Mhm.
like my daughter was an incredibly talented musician,
Mhm.
like natural. And instead of focusing on what she was really good at, they were very worried about what she wasn't good at. And they were very concerned, even though her test scores were good and all that other stuff, they were very concerned about she's bad at this. We have to focus on this instead of taking her to the next level and what she's really good at.
Mhm.
So if we focus on what we're weak at, we're never going to be better than average or good. We're never going to have a chance to get anywhere really. Okay. No
Mhm.
matter how good you drive, no matter how good you are in that car, right? Because right now you're doing Lyft.
Yep.
Even if you were my driver and I loved you and I did a tip the bill and gave you like a huge tip, right? It's a
Mhm.
$60 ride and I gave you $60. You're still not going to make multi six figures. It's
No.
not going to. I've had drivers that have been horrible and I've had drivers that have had mints in the car and water and I've tipped them, not only tipped them on the app, but I've tipped them cash because they
Mhm.
went out of their way. You could tell they really care. And we had a
Mhm.
nice conversation, really pleasant people, right? Tip them really well. But no, even if you get tipped really, really, really well, it's not going to change your life dramatically, right? It's
No.
not possible. Doesn't
No,
mean it.
I've got a 5.0 rating. I'm great at talking to people, all that stuff, but there's only so much you can do.
Right. And I would be thrilled to have a driver like you, and I probably would tip you, extra tip you. Or like if
Yep.
I have a lot of bags and the gentleman helps me, like I was just in Miami, some of the drivers will help you, some of them won't. It depends. And if it's a girl, I don't want them doing it. But you see what I'm saying? Like if a guy
Absolutely.
handles my bags and puts them on the curb instead of in the street, and he really goes out of his way, I'm going to go out of my way for him. But
Mhm.
that's still not going to give him life-changing income.
No.
So now let's take your skill that you just said I'm really good at about acknowledging people. And what if you incorporated that into your business?
Mhm.
What if you decided to use, like I use a greeting card system or a postcard system, or you can just message people. I have so many trainings about loving your market, loving your prospects, romancing them. What if you decided that this is something I actually enjoy doing?
Mhm.
I'm going to start making people's day for a living. Because
Yeah.
when you make people's day, they like you. They'll jump on your list. They'll come to your
Mhm.
presentation or your offer, this and that. What if you decided I'm going to take this very thing that makes me happy and brings me joy?
Mhm.
I'm going to do this. And every day, instead of going, I have to do this, I go, I'm going to make
Mhm.
people's day today.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I ended up doing a free one-on-one with a woman last night to help her out. Um, we ended up connecting on TikTok, and she was really struggling. So the workshops and everything that I have are people trying to figure out what makes them happy and to find themselves. And
Mhm.
because it was just the two of us, I spent a lot of time with this woman. But we were 3/4 of the way through the conversation, and she's like, "I have no friends. I have nothing that makes me happy. I have this. I have that. I have that." So by the end of the conversation, she had a list of like 4 or 5 things that she was going to try and do to get her reconnected. Which she was going to try and go to the zoo and volunteer. She was going to so this woman that like said nothing would make her happy, we had a list of things that could make her happy. So that made me
And
feel amazing that I helped her have that breakthrough.
when we're done, go back and look at the video and watch your essence at the beginning of the video to your when you started talking about the thing you love change. Like I just watched you change. You're smiling, you're beaming right now. Now we have
Hmm.
to make sure there's a way to monetize it because if we only talk to people that are really sad and lonely, even if we change their life and help them, that's not going to make us a living. You
Yep.
know me, I'm always very clear about that. So we have to have a vehicle to make a living.
Absolutely.
But if we start really learning about a target market and we start really looking to connect with people and then we do things like whether it's cards or whether it's Facebook messages or funny memes or like sometimes I don't have time to do it all the time, but I love to take people's pictures and make them memes and make them
Hmm.
different things or and I say I have a present for you and I send it to them. They love that. So
Hmm.
if we decided this is what I'm selling, maybe it's your workshops, whatever it is that
Hmm.
you're selling. I encourage you if you're going to do workshops, phenomenal. Pick something to sell on the back end that gives you some recurring income.
Okay.
Um, I'm not trying to recruit you or anything, but like the card and gift system that I use might be something very interesting for you. It's an
Yeah.
affiliate program. It's not, but it does have recurring income. That's
Oh,
something to
cool.
say to people. And if you love getting that, maybe you'd love to make somebody else's day and you show
Yep.
them. Are you going to make $1 million with that? No, but that's a way that you get recurring income going. Or think about
Hmm.
something else. Maybe
Yep.
it's affiliating with some type of gift something different programs that have fun things or cute things or and make it your business to show people how to make someone's day and use that to build your business. Now this is
Hmm.
very fun and it's right up your alley.
Yeah.
It's right up your alley.
Yep.
So now we don't hesitate as much because now you can make a video and go, hey, it's Val and I'm about to surprise somebody. They told me that they love bulldogs, and I just found the cutest card. I'm going to send this out to them, and I can't wait to see their reaction. Hey, it's Val
Hmm.
over here. I'm in the dollar store, and I just found these things. Well, it's $1.25 now, but I just found these things, and I know that if I send these to this person, it's going to float their boat. I'm spending $5. I'm going to be able to make 4 people's day. What do you do
Hmm.
for someone's day? Now it becomes fun because you're on the hunt for fun things to do to make someone's day. Or
Yes.
you're making suggestions about feeling down and lonely today. Here's 5 things you can do to lift yourself up. Now you've turned this into your jam.
Yep.
It
I like
doesn't
that. I
come.
like that a lot.
And what happens, what's even more exciting about this, and part of why I do the one-on-ones, and different
Hmm.
things I do, is you feel the person's happiness come back towards you and it keeps
Yeah.
up. It keeps,
Hmm.
you know, I'm not going to say I'm not depressed by any means. Like I'm not clinically depressed.
Hmm.
I'm not sad. I'm not any of those things, but I do have lethargic days. And for
I
me,
know exactly what you're talking about.
and I think a lot of people that enjoy my marketing, they come from a place where they have some of these things and they see that I've overcome them in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
I'm constantly having to trick myself. I'm sorry, I'm hot. I'm gonna take this off and have my straps hanging out. I constantly have to trick myself into things, whether it's planning something you look forward to,
Hmm.
whether it's if you see me go live randomly for no reason, it's because I'm down. And I know if I get some people
Gotcha.
around me, I'll feel better. Um,
Gotcha.
and I'm weird because I love people and people are too much for me. I'm an introvert, an extrovert, an introvert. So
Yep.
like I'll go to an event and I'll love it. And then I come home from the event and I'm a lot of times I get sick. In fact, when I got COVID, I was at an event and I thought I had my normal event cold because I put so much out and then I just like
Yep.
and it wasn't the event cold. It was the you're gonna die cold. So but you see how this stuff changes the energy and the vibe. And we stop
Yeah.
thinking about, well, who am I supposed to talk to? Because the focus is more who looks like they could have their day made. Now you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to develop this audience of people that are all talking about, like when I do cards, and I haven't in a while because I'm delinquent, but whenever I send them out, everybody goes online and goes, look what Diane sent me. And then everybody who didn't get one goes, oh, I want one. And I go, let me have your address, building the list.
Yep.
It's
I get your cue cards.
yeah, and I haven't done them in ages because I've been a delinquent. And I pay every month for my cards, and I haven't done them, so I better do some cards. But just
Yeah.
the sweet serendipity and the fun, that's really what I love.
Mm-hmm.
Business, but I have to make a living.
Yes.
I always have something that I can sell that I know that people would want. But if you look at me, I'm not my companies. I'm not my programs that I promote. I'm
Mm-hmm.
me.
Yep.
These are things that I feel would be helpful to people. I don't put my identity in any of them, because if I did, then I'd start, like, right now, one of the programs that we're involved with, they've really moved into some more technical stuff. Okay. And it's very good and it's wonderful. And I think it's much easier than everything else that's out there. I think it's wonderful. But to me, one, it feels overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the number one earner and I feel overwhelmed. And two, I feel inadequate. Now, that's my mind, because I
Yep.
get down and learn this. But
Of
I get
course.
overwhelmed, and then I sit there and I go, everything's moving without me. I get into this thing.
Yep.
That's just honest.
Mm-hmm.
And sooner or later I go, okay, damn it. And I sit down for a weekend and I learn the whole thing,
Yep.
like anything.
Of course. Absolutely.
Right now, a large bulk of my business is in Spanish. I speak
Mhm.
Spanish very well, but when you have a lot of people coming at you, it's overwhelming. And then
Oh, I'm sure.
I get paralyzed and I don't create the things I want to create, etc. And then I go, okay, forget it. And I'll do it all in a day. Give yourself grace.
Okay.
And remember, if it gets done by the end of the week, it got done.
Gotcha.
Instead of this, I have to do this today. You want to be visible every day, but like if you say, I'm going to make 10 people's day, if you
Mm-hmm.
do 70 by the week, it doesn't matter. You may get on a roll and do 25 one day.
Yep. Okay. Another thing, so two questions I wanted to make sure I covered with you. And one you might be able to help me with, and one you might not. But the first one I talked about it at the beginning. Definitely have some sort of block with money.
Mhm.
Um, attracting it and everything else. And I've gotten really good at, I'm a single mom. I've got to just figure stuff out. So I've gotten very good at being resourceful,
Mhm.
but I always get myself to just getting by. Like if I need to make, you know, whatever it is, like 600 by the end of the week, I'll make the 600, but I won't. So I've got myself stuck on that and not being able to bring myself beyond that. Does that make sense?
I've been there. Mhm. And then also, when you cover something, then something happens. The dishwasher breaks or something. Something happens,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so you don't have the reserve. And then it's like it's almost like you're so trained to be behind the eight ball that you don't know how to not be there.
Yes.
So I did several things with that. Okay. The first thing was I looked at my finances. I made sure that, because this is why I started MLM originally. I had left my job. We had gotten into debt because I kept spending money on, because we had a new house. I kept buying appliances and different things. Then all of a sudden I had all these bills. So the first thing I did was I figured out, what do I need every month? What's my nut to live?
Hmm.
Okay. What's my nut to live?
Yep.
The next thing I did was I figured out how much do I need in like an emergency fund,
Okay.
to build that up. And then I looked at my income, which at the time was zero. Okay. So I needed to increase my income so that because at the time I had a husband who had a job and everything else. So we lived, we were okay, but I had a lot of debt that I wanted to pay off. So I needed to
Hmm.
come up with enough to get rid of that debt, and then enough to start putting away, so that we
Yep.
could have a better life. So look at your income and then start to think about where can I find, and see, here's what people do wrong in this industry. They want an extra $10,000. They want an extra $5,000. Figure out where can I come up with an extra 200 this
Mhm.
month. Okay. What can I get out of my budget? What don't I need? And then what can I
Mhm.
do to get an extra 200 this month? That
Okay.
200 first goes into the emergency fund if you don't have one or if you need one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then eventually that $200 becomes the savings, it becomes the extra. And what I started doing was I created a number. You know how I teach zero level marketing? It's the bottom level of marketing that I'll do.
Yes. Yep.
I created a level in my savings account that I wouldn't go below. So let's say it's
Okay.
$500, which isn't a lot of money, but
Mhm.
$500. No matter what, because I will not go below. Now I have a much bigger number now. Can't go below it. Can't go below it. Okay. Have a number. Could be $200. Okay. Because you know how what we do is we just go, oh, I have money in savings
Mhm.
and grab it, right?
Yep.
That money doesn't exist. Okay.
Okay.
And make that into yourself. And then you start increasing that little bit. So you say, where can I find an extra $200 this month? In a month or two, you go, where can I find an extra $300 this month? $500. So you start increasing your muscle for making a little bit more money.
Mhm.
And then start increasing your muscle for, I refuse to let this money go,
Mhm.
to let my bank account below this amount. Now, what happens, and the reason why we do this, $500 in the bank account isn't going to protect you if Armageddon comes, right? But it
Mhm.
mentally starts to create a sense of abundance. Like, I have this. I have this
Gotcha.
for a rainy day. And you start to determine the difference between getting pizza on Friday night with your kid and a real rainy day. I have
Yep.
this, it's there for later. I have this, it's there to invest or whatever. It starts to change the mentality about
That's exactly what I'm looking for. That's the shift. That's I never heard it explained that way. That's huge.
I don't I just made it up to the best of my knowledge. I heard it. I just started to find, see, because what they do is they teach you the snowball method of debt reduction is you
Mhm.
figure out where you can make an extra 100 or $20 a month and you put it towards the lowest debt and until you pay off the whole debt and you work up.
Yep.
So I did the same thing. Once I did that, then I started putting money in the bank. And then I
Yep.
got to the point where I had the extra money that I was using to pay the debt. Now that extra money could go in the bank. So I went from 200 to 500 to 1,000. And I'll never forget, it was 2007. I needed a car. My car was done. And I literally could buy a car. It wasn't a brand new car, but it was a good used car, cash.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget telling, because I had saved and I had put it away and I had planned. And I'll never forget telling the guy, because he was talking to me about financing. I'm like, no, I'll be paying cash. And it was the most incredible feeling. And then what that
Mhm.
starts to do is you start to create the mentality of, I can create. When we have a
Gotcha.
regular job, we have no capacity to create because the job is the job, whatever it pays. When we
Mhm.
drive Lyft or do gigs, we actually have, we can work more hours, but we can't control the fares that we pick up. So it's
Mhm.
actually less control. In a job, this is what it is. I can't control it to go up, but it's not going to go down. With a
Yeah, you
Lyft,
make a set
with a
amount.
gig,
Mhm.
we don't necessarily, like, for example, do you know about like the shopping gigs and the merchandising gigs and different things that are
Yep.
very popular there? Stuff like
Yes.
that. You pick up two of those a week and make an extra 150, $200, right? And
Mhm.
you can pull
Yep.
it around. In Lyft, you can turn it off and not take rides for a while, right?
Yes.
Right. So like you could plan your day around two merchandising things and
Yep.
lift your there and lift your way out. So now
Mhm.
you've increased your revenue for the day.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Without really changing the day dramatically. Maybe the gig and
Yes.
the two gigs take an hour. So
Mhm.
so you start seeing that there's more money, and then you
Yeah.
start telling yourself there's more money, so it's okay if I leave this year.
Gotcha.
And it's work. Just like programming your stopping your words, changing your words. This is work. There's more money. Like I never feel like there's not money. There's
Yeah.
money to God, there's always something to sell. Now, maybe it's not in the field that I'm in. Maybe Armageddon does come and people are not buying software, but they're
Mhm.
buying something. They're always
Yep.
buying. When we start to get into
Absolutely.
the thinking differently, where can I make
Mhm.
$200? Well, the truth is, you do 2 gigs during the week, there's $200.
Yep. Absolutely.
Now that $200 goes into this account. This account is not, yes, it's savings, but what this is this account reminds me there's money available to me.
Mhm.
I don't need to touch this because I can go get more. And it
Yep.
becomes a mental game. It's a mental game.
Yeah. I do well with games and challenging myself and beating
And
myself and, you know.
it's very valuable for you because I see you. You're going, oh, wait a minute. I didn't think about it that way. Where can I
Yes.
find that money? There it is. Let me put it over here to remind myself that I can always find more.
Yep.
Right. And so
Yeah.
then let's say you committed to $100 a week. Let's make it
Mhm.
little. Okay, let's not make it big. I committed to finding $100 a week and I put it in my bank account.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to get that bank account, set up an extra one to $500. That's my proof that money is available. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I start thinking and I realize I can make an extra $200 a week. Well, now 100 goes in there and 100 you can spend because now that's more proof that money's available. I can take my
Mhm.
daughter to the movies. We can go for, a nice dinner. So now all of a sudden, but you're not risking or you're not doing it at the expense of the original 100.
Yes.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I that mindset is exactly the shift that I need. It's
Mhm.
not about the how much money I can make, it's about making that shift so
All
that
right.
I can.
So now it's money is here's proof that money is available to me. I'm able to go out and find it. And here's proof that money is available to me so I can spend some because I don't have to worry because more is coming.
Yep.
It's really a hard shift. And most of the prosperity stuff out there, and I've studied a lot of it, is kind of cheesy. It's either old or it's just kind of cheesy, or it's the idea of, double tip your waitress or stuff like that. And I think that's all cool, but I don't think it gets to the root of it because then people go, look, I double tipped my waitress, and they go back to the same behavior the next day. They do
Yep.
it for a social media post. This is for you to talk into yourself.
Mhm.
Not only can I locate more money, but I have the discipline to let it be there because I know more is coming, and I have the discipline to spend some of it because I know more is coming. So now
Mhm.
you keep increasing those amounts or move that into your business. So I'm going to do 2 gigs and get my $200. 100 goes in my pocket, 100 goes in the bank account, and I'm going to run a workshop. And even if I only get 5 people to pay me $17, that's almost an extra $100. Now
Mhm.
money, I can decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to buy some Bitcoin? Do I want to buy a little bit of stock? Do I want to, now you start to see what I'm saying? So
Yes.
only most people look down and they go, I only got 5 people to pay me
Mhm.
$17. I look
Mhm.
at it as you got the first person to pay you for an info product or for
Yes.
and I started with like $20 classes. People don't realize
Mhm.
I was the only person that knew how to do most of the social media stuff, and I would teach people for $20. I didn't think it was worth $300. I still
Mhm.
think a lot of it's worth $300. I think people overcharge. Um,
Yes.
I mean, if somebody thinks something's good, they're going to keep buying from you. I'm looking at the
Mhm.
long factor of the
Yep.
people. And I know I'll get beaten up by my colleagues who say you have to charge what you're worth. No, you have to know what you're worth.
Mhm. That's a
Because
great point. You have to know what you're worth, but you don't have to charge what you're worth. You decide that.
well, that you charge accordingly depending on the thing. Like all access pass, it's the stupidest deal on earth.
Oh
It's the
my
stupidest.
god, it was such a steal.
If somebody plugs in, it's the stupidest deal on earth, and it gives me joy to give that to someone,
And I got a one-on-one included in that, really?
which wasn't originally included. But
No, but it is now.
and I'm using these for pieces of content. I'm going to take snippets. Obviously, nothing revealing. I have to go through them, but we'll find a
Mhm.
even cropped where it's me on a rant, and your face may not even be in it. But that was the deal.
Oh,
I make
absolutely.
content at the same time as I'm helping people, at the same time
Mhm.
as I'm getting joy. That's a
Yep.
trip.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really cool. I'm just
Mhm.
watching. I do have another one. 46. We still got a few minutes.
Okay. So
So
there's that the oh my gosh, that was incredible. The stuff that we've hit already with mindset and money. Oh, sorry, Diane, go ahead.
give you one more. Okay.
So yeah, so I wanted to ask, so I've been struggling with my target audience. So I'm 45, just went through a divorce, blah blah blah. But my target, I think, is women, like me, that that are struggling to know their worth, struggling to know that they're amazing, struggling to know that they can make themselves happy. I thought it was my ex's job and everybody else to make me happy. I didn't realize till I was probably 43 or 44 that I was supposed to make myself happy and I wasn't doing my job. So that's what I,
Stop.
okay.
That's your narrative. It's not your market.
Okay.
Okay. Let me explain the difference.
Yes, please.
Over, that's your umbrella of this is my story and this is what moves me. And, I'm starting life over with a new energy and I want to show my child, what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
That will attract them because, like, as soon as you said, I'm 45, went through a divorce. I'm like, oh, I'm 55, went through a divorce, the relation, but that's not your market.
Okay.
Because if you make that your market, what are you going to sell them? Extra pillowcases because you cried all over one and smeared it? What do you, see, you know what I'm saying? Like that,
Yes.
That's has pain. Generally, if people are in the middle of the pain, they're not buying stuff, because they're in the middle of the pain.
Yes.
Or they are buying stuff stupidly. They could be.
Yeah.
But so if you're talking about take two,
Mm-hmm.
building a business around you have a daughter, right? Correct?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Brooklyn 6.
It's me and my daughter starting over after divorce, building a business, having fun and creating a new life, right? That's the vibe. Okay. So now whatever you're selling in your business is there, you figure out who that is. So the market might be people who want to get in shape because they've been through a rough time and have decided enough. I'm ready to love on me. Like if you were selling supplements, or people that want to learn business skills because they're starting over and they really need to learn this stuff, especially because they're mid 40s. They didn't grow up doing this stuff. That's a market.
Okay.
Somebody to sell something to.
Gotcha.
The pain and overcoming it, that's a narrative. Like I don't focus on people who were married for years whose husbands just decided to leave. Because that would not be a profitable market because a lot of them are still reeling. I focus on people that want to have businesses.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, this is some of the stuff that I went through.
Gotcha.
But I also can help moms because I brought up children in the business. A lot of people I can help, but I got to have a market I want to sell to. Follow?
So right
what
now, I can adjust it obviously, but right now I have workshops that I've already created that are, available for, figuring out who you are, figuring out what your vision is, leaving your old baggage behind, doing a vision board, and then figuring out how you're going to have small steps each day to get there.
Okay.
So do I need to switch?
No, the workshops are fine, but the question is for who? I could have that for people that are obese. I could have that workshop for people who went through a life change and divorce. I could have that same workshop for people who lost a spouse. I could have that same workshop for people who want to build a business. So the workshop is relevant. The question is, who is it for? And that's the market.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think that's been my struggle because there's a couple of times in my life when my dad died, when I got laid off from my job, when I got divorced, there's been several times throughout my life I could have used something like this. So I'm trying to figure out what piece of that I try and figure out a market for and what struggle.
Mm-hmm. Well, it can be all the struggles. It could be, how to find yourself again after crisis in life. But again, I'm coming back to, people do buy that because I'm sitting here going, what do people buy? People do buy that because people buy books and tapes and different things. You're just going to need a lot of media to catch all of those people. See, I like easy markets, Val.
Okay.
I like easy markets. Home business is easy. People that we know are buying things already. And then when they get into a home business and they struggle, they always buy personal development. You can always sell personal development, this type of stuff, to people that are already in something and not getting where they want to go. Like notice that we started this conversation with, I have a blockage, right? So you're already somebody that's building a business, but I see you having a struggle in this area. Here's my blockage. So you're already somebody who's building a business, but you've gone through
Mm-hmm.
turmoil in your life and it's holding you
Mm-hmm.
back. Or you're
Gotcha.
somebody who's a single mom and you're bringing up your kids alone. You need to find these things. So it's a specific need that they have. And I'm
Gotcha.
thinking about besides your workshops, because you're probably not going to make enough on just the workshops unless you
No.
get heavy duty coaching. We need something to sell them behind that.
Okay.
And that's why I'm trying to think of who are the people, because that's how you pick the things that you're going to sell behind it.
Gotcha. So, I don't know if this helps any or not. Before COVID, I was also teaching water aerobics 5 days a week. Lost 75 pounds, slowly kept it off. No extra, pills or anything like that. I've
Yeah.
since COVID gained it back. I'm just starting to get back into teaching. I could go the health and wellness route. If you think that that's something to look into.
um, I'm thinking, and
Okay.
we're almost out of time.
Yeah, yeah,
Let
no, you've been amazing. I've gotten so much value out of this. So if we've got to cut it, that's totally fine.
I want to think on this some more and give you a couple of suggestions. So I will, in all access, like I'll comment on this video. May not be
Okay.
today,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
no.
but there's something here. Because if you really want to do the workshops because they bring you joy,
Hmm.
then maybe your whole deal is people who want to get back to happiness. And I'm selling things that help you get there. My workshops, cards, and I'm only bringing that one up because it comes to mind. I don't
Yeah,
care
of course.
or not.
Yeah,
There's other
absolutely.
ones out there too. But think about things that people use to feel better. It could be you could become an affiliate for there's spa gift cards and different things. You could become
Okay.
an so everything that you do is about feeling good. After crisis in your life, it's really hard
Hmm.
to get back to feeling good. That's what
Yep.
I do. I help people feel good. And now you talk about products, services, and workshops that help you feel good.
Now, do I, and we can definitely cut it here, but in the past, and I've kind of let it drop because I haven't had time and energy to focus on it. But I love traveling. Traveling is one of my favorite things. I know it's one of yours too. But I was affiliated with a travel company to book travel for people, and that obviously comes along, at least for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, the joy of traveling, experiencing new things, and doing new things. Do you think that that would be a good focus to pick up again?
Could be. I'm this is me. I'm iffy on a lot of travel programs because I don't find the deals are significantly better than what's out there. So then it's just a matter of, you're selling the membership or you're selling the access to the login, or depends on what the program is and what you're selling. Being a real travel, like, it sells. I know a lot of people that have made money in travel, but
Hmm.
they tend not to last. And the reason
Gotcha.
why is because it's so easy to find really good deals out there. That's why I never joined. You kidding me? There's like cruise programs, there's travel.
Mhm.
Why did I never join one? Because I
Yep,
didn't feel I was serving my customer best.
gotcha.
Because
This particular one that I was part of, and not that I can't do something else as well, but the one that I was part of was I was essentially the travel agent, and the way I made money was not to get a commission from them directly, but from the people that I book with, the cruise line, the hotel, all of that stuff. So
and I,
it is tough to get a better deal, but if I do the legwork and then get the commission from them, I'm not charging my customer,
I understand, but here's the problem. Do you want to be a travel agent for a living? Because the money in the program is made by signing people up. It's
Mhm.
not made by the commissions, because I've had
No.
this discussion with people a million times. If you book a cruise for me, you're not going to make a lot of money. You'd
No,
have
same thing. I can keep where I am, but I'm not gonna get to that next level.
the way you make money in those programs is by recruiting people, and they pay the initial fee to get in. And the
Yes.
question is, are you going to do that? And will it feel right to you?
Yeah, do I wanna build a team?
I'm not
No, I
saying,
know exactly what you're saying.
because sometimes people get upset with me and they say I'm knocking something. I'm not knocking something. I'm just a
No.
business person. And I just like,
Yes.
I'm not selling Christmas trees in April.
Yep.
It's just
Yeah.
business. It's not that they don't like Christmas trees. It's just I'm not
Mhm.
selling Christmas trees in April because I'm looking at profitability, etc. So I think you should just start to think about. So if these are my people and I want to help them find
Mhm.
happiness,
Yep.
what are all the things that help people recover and find happiness? I mean, I can make you a list of mine. I can
Yeah.
prototype. I traveled extensively during that time period. So being a travel agent could be viable, but I don't know that recruiting them into that program is
No,
viable.
I don't wanna recruit them into that. Maybe that's a piece of what I do. I don't want that to be all I do. Maybe I plan, people that I'm working with in consulting, I plan their trips and that's it. I don't wanna be full time and sucking
Maybe
everybody in.
all I'm telling you is that people get real fussy about their bookings, and the money that you can make unless you're doing it in a high volume way is generally not worth the drama. That,
Gotcha.
I have a friend that's a cruise specialist, and there's always a crisis because they always
Yeah.
port gets missed or this happens or that. It's there's always something, and she's just very high volume, so she has staff to deal with that.
Yep.
But if you're by yourself,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
hard.
great point.
Think
I'm
about it.
taking away the flexibility that I'm looking for.
Exactly, exactly. So let's think about it. Let me think about it some more. But I think we got some good stuff today, and I think you
Oh
probably
my
should
God,
watch.
amazing.
I have to go because I have to teach another class, a class. But you are awesome, and I'm excited for you because I literally just watched you transform. I literally just watched you go from to up, which means we're getting much closer to the right place for you. Don't beat
Absolutely.
yourself
Thank you
up.
so much for your time. This was incredible. I really appreciate it.
Don't beat yourself up. I've done it. It's no fun. Okay,
No,
love
definitely not.
yourself. Especially because your daughter's watching, and she knows when you're beating on yourself, and she'll take that on herself.
Yep, absolutely. I try and watch it in front of her for her, but I need to watch it for me.
Yeah, yeah, because you're worth it.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
we fool ourselves if we think our kids don't sense stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
we may edit ourselves in front of them, but they know. They
Oh
know.
yeah, they're so smart.
They
So
are.
smart.
They are. You're awesome. I'll see you
Thank
later.
you so much, Diane. Take care.